Doctor.
Hello and welcome to the Garden Doctor Show, and we're so happy to be back. So very, very happy. I know we're late. I know we should have started 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago. It's not TV3's fault. It's John's fault, but we won't go there. No, actually,
it's all your fault.
All my fault. I had to interrupt things for a little bit and have some procedures done.
He says procedures. He means triple bypass, open heart surgery. So they did that on February 5th, and as you know, you can't keep a good man down. So he's trying to get back to his old activity level, and it's been a little rough here and there.
I've been overdoing.
Yeah,
then
that's
overdoing.
his biggest
then
problem.
Overdoing.
Yes.
Then overdoing.
Yes.
And so I've slipped backwards a little bit, but
still recovering.
We're going to try to maybe do an information program about.
I think that would be very
open
interesting.
heart and what not to do, because so many things you are not told. So many things you have to be your own advocate. So many things are entirely up to you.
And they don't tell you what to expect after the surgery. Different items that you need to have in your home, different things you need to be prepared to do, things you might need to adjust in your home as far as seating or steps or handrails, all kinds of things that it's a whole lot nicer if you would have known about those ahead of time.
There's many things that you can do beforehand.
Absolutely.
That you need to do to prepare your body, to prepare your mind, and to prepare your house, and so many other things. And you need to be ready for afterwards.
Yes.
And so many times, well, we weren't.
No, not really, no.
And this doesn't mean we had bad doctors.
No,
because
absolutely
I had
not.
a fabulous surgeon. And it doesn't mean that that we got into a terrible situation with the medical profession.
No.
Because we didn't. It's just that the programs are set up to like having a baby. You have the baby, they send you home. There's not all the pomp and circumstance.
And most people know you need to have diapers and wipes and different things at home when you have a baby, but it's just with heart surgery.
But after heart surgery, you really don't know. It's all new.
I think they just don't think to tell you,
what not to do. It's very important. Now,
Yes.
I have a
Right.
tremendous team of exercise people. Do you have a list of their names?
Yes, you do. I did.
Down at
1
the
minute.
Fayette County Rehab. There are some ladies down there that I'd like to shout out to, and they have done a fantastic job of saying, Harold, that's too much. Harold, that's not enough.
Yes,
Harold,
I
that's
do.
too much. Harold, that's not enough. Now, I will listen to them.
Oh, he doesn't listen to me at all. Now, if I tell him, honey, you need to not be doing that, oh, no, he won't listen to me. But
If she's not looking, does it count?
yes, it counts. So if insurance hires people to tell him these things, he will listen. So here you go. I
Well,
found
you
the
read
card.
them.
Well, we have Nancy Riedelman. Is it Riedelman or Redelman?
Redelman.
Redelman, Sherry Walker, and Heather Mapes. Is that how you say that?
Right,
Heather
and
Mapes?
they do
Awesome
a
down
fantastic
there.
job.
Yes.
Big shout out to them down at
Please.
Fayette County Rehab, Heart Center Rehab.
They are at the cardiac rehab at Fayette Regional Hospital.
And good facilities down there, good people. They went out on a limb a couple of times for me and made some phone calls that needed to be made and got some information through that we were having trouble getting through because of there's a lot of incompatibility with the different filing systems. And so, some of this stuff had to be done by
Yes,
voice.
and this is one of the actually first times he's been willing to use Fayette Memorial Hospital because of their excellent heart rehab.
Yeah, the rehab was excellent,
Yes.
and also I like the cardiologist I was just dealing with. But you do need to know more than what they tell you, and we're going to try to fill in some of those blanks.
I think we could fill a whole show doing just that.
Well,
actually, so I've kind of been thinking about it. We'll
independent from the Garden
Right,
Doctor
separate show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm just trying to be a patient and be good at being a patient and convey some of the things that not only myself, but what we have heard from other people that have gone
That's your
through
full-time job, is to be a good patient after heart surgery,
and don't accept mediocrity and don't just say, well, You know, that's the best
That must
it is.
be how it is. You
Because
just always ask.
We
Ask
found out that
questions.
was not true at all.
Yes.
That was not true. Okay, we were here just the other night.
We were.
Two nights
Tuesday
ago?
night? Oh, yes.
Tuesday night.
What a great show.
Oh, you people are missing out. I have no idea what happened to the enthusiasm and the people in Connersville that are so into bluegrass.
Well, a lot of them, like a lot of our friends, have gotten older and passed away. We lost a good friend of ours, Phil Moisner, this spring.
And
Yep.
Bud.
Phil had heart surgery the same week that you did, and our good friend Bud Whipple passed away. We were very sad, but yet on the other hand, it was a good thing. He was ready to go. He was ready
His
to
wife
be
had
with his
passed
wife
earlier,
again,
yes,
but
but bluegrass. I'm
it's big
talking
in
about
this,
happy things
yeah,
here.
great in this community. A lot of musicians.
You don't have to be
and-
old to be bluegrass
No,
fan.
you don't.
And let me tell you, the band that played, that was the guest band here, their name was?
Right here at TV3, they have what's called the Fayette County Line. And once a month, they book a band. We have a house band called the Joy River Band. And they are the house band, but then every month they have a
That's a
guest
bluegrass
band. Yep,
house
it's all
band.
bluegrass. And they do this in front of a live audience, and you've probably seen the shows on TV3 because they play them. Like the band we saw Tuesday will start airing in June. And they were called Boots, Skirt and Boots. And they were absolutely great. The two
No.
female harmonies were absolutely beautiful. I loved the songs. They were kind of a little bit different than your standard bluegrass, where a lot of them do sound similar. These
Some of
were
them
some
can,
very
depending
unique
on,
songs. Yes, real
Depending
nice.
on music selection. but
Skirt and Boots, and they have a Facebook page too, so check that out.
Go to the Skirt and Boots Facebook page and see where they are playing. But you have the opportunity to see them on TV3 here in June, and then there will be a taping in June, which will be played in
Right.
July.
So watch.
Now that taping will be announced. It's not
Yes,
set in stone yet.
It will be announced on Facebook, on the TV3 Facebook page.
And the website.
Yep, and they will let you know in advance in a post on Facebook if you like the TV3 and you follow that when the next taping is coming for the Fayette County Line. You can be in the audience and watch them
Now
live.
be sure to call in to make sure that there are seats available.
It is a limited, intimate
it's a
setting.
yeah, it's very intimate. You get to meet the band.
Yeah.
You're right up front. And if you've ever wondered what goes on upstairs in this facility right here with this TV3 sign on the outside, what does the studio look like? What does the equipment look like? What's going on up there?
Well, that's your opportunity
This
to
is your
come
opportunity.
look.
You just
Yes.
come right on in. You get in the elevator. You come upstairs. You turn around, and if you don't turn around, you're out of luck. You turn around, you get out the door, and there you are in this beautiful facility right
really
here.
is
You'll see
nice.
this barn.
This
you know,
barn and these
my
flowers.
flowers.
Not
and
really.
everything
This
right
is a
here.
green screen behind us. You
No.
saw. Yes.
Certainly not.
Yes, it is.
Oh, well.
You'll see
anyway.
the green curtain, but anyway, the
But
studio is a lot
their
of fun.
studio, on the other hand,
They have a beautiful.
They have a beautiful
set.
studio.
Looks like
Gorgeous.
a shed.
And
their
theirs is
stage.
real.
It is.
We're Memorex. They're real.
Live, yeah, they're live. Now,
That's my
speaking of
conviction.
great music, I have to give a shout out to our own Justin Roberts right here in the control booth.
Yeah.
He plays with the band Undeserved at the church that we attend, the Cross Point Biker Church. Great church, great bunch of people, great band, wonderful music.
Yeah, the band is some of the reason that some of the people come.
It
let me tell
is.
you. Yeah, it
Now,
really is.
they're also performed as Claypool Block, which many of you have probably seen in town at the different places in
Amvets,
town.
some of the other clubs,
Yeah,
I think.
Amvets in the different clubs. Now, I haven't seen them do Claypool Block in quite a while, but they are the house band.
Just
they play
recently
every week.
they did Amvets, didn't they?
I think that's been a while,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But they play every week, twice on Sunday there at both services at the Cross
And they're
Point Biker
about
Church.
to cut a record. It's not a record anymore. They're about to cut
records.
a thing.
I think they have
What
a
are they
new
called?
CD coming out.
CDs.
Yes,
Yeah.
and actually on their Facebook page they also have, I got to see a preview of their performance of Amazing Grace, which was absolutely awesome. So you want
I
to
do
hear
it
them
differently,
play?
but if you're into that.
Or you want to go to a great welcoming church with no judgment, and everybody leaves all their issues at the door, come to the Cross
we're
Point Biker Church.
promoing
I love
the church.
it.
This is
oh,
lovely.
Well, I don't know if we're supposed
Hey,
to,
well,
but
we
I'm
don't
going
care.
to.
When
It's
Jesus
your
is
show.
involved,
That's
we can
right.
do whatever
I'm
we want to do.
Okay.
Obviously, folks, Garden Doctor Show, we're live.
We are
You can call
live.
in.
Woo-hoo.
The number is on the screen. You can call us at any time, and we will stop the show right
Absolutely.
on a dime, hit
We'll
the
just
brakes,
quit talking
and we will answer your question as best we can.
Sure.
Many calls came in about tomatoes, and they came out in cards, in writing, in notes,
tomato.
notes on my window, and stopping me in the.
Yeah,
in
he
the,
gets a lot of that.
Yeah, and so let me tell you, people didn't want me to say it was a good idea or a bad idea. They just wanted my permission to plant tomato plants back in March and in April when it was freezing.
Well, and we had a few nice days. We thought we were in for a spring, but not to happen.
No.
No.
And you need the ground warm. So I'm going to put together a package, and it's going to be something that you will be able to watch now and later. If you just want to go on to TV3 and you want to see how I would recommend you plant a tomato plant early, mid-season, or late, we are going to do just that video just for you people that have that specific
Great.
interest. And we're doing it right away here soon. Also going to do one on in-depth pruning of a fruit tree and the spraying of fruit trees and why you prune this, why you don't prune that. Quite a detailed that you can't get into on a show where you're trying to keep things moving along quickly. We can't just focus on one particular item. But we can do that, and we will do that a little bit later on. Tomatoes, though, now is the time to plant tomatoes, and it's almost until the 1st of July. It is not too late. Honestly, seriously, you should plant a tomato now. You should plant another one in about 2 or 3 weeks, and you should plant another one about the end of June.
I like that
1st of
staggering
July.
because it seems like even with the cucumbers, just about the time these vines are starting to kind of, peter
Yeah.
out a little bit, then the next ones are
Right.
really coming on, and you can extend that growing season right up almost till
Well,
fall.
we try so hard to keep these things alive. Let them die.
You just put in your new
Let
ones.
it go. Just put a new one in that's coming along,
Right.
so that when the other one starts getting a disease and having a problem, rip that sucker out and let the new one come on.
Now, with our little greenhouse, we were able to start some things earlier. So I did get some cucumbers started, and
Oh,
now
she's got cucumbers
they
up
are
there.
in the
Gorgeous.
ground. They're gorgeous growing.
14, 18 inches
But I'm
tall.
starting new seeds right now because by
Which
the time
will be
those,
the second growth.
right? Then
And there
keep
are
'em
very
going.
few things that you need to start indoors, and you can only grow during one season. Very, very few things, especially with our long growing season that we have here. In New England, in New Hampshire, we even grow 2 different crops up there.
Yes.
We have an early and we have a mid-season.
because you want to get the most you can get out of a short
Out of the
growing
limited,
season
yeah.
as well, because you have from May 31st to Labor Day, the 1st of September, and that's it. You're done.
Oh, what is the? I can't think of the fella's name that
What fella?
him and his wife gave you the mimosa tree.
Oh, yes, I know who you're
I
talking
ran into
about,
them the
and
other
I'm
day
terrible
at
with-
the grocery store,
Yes.
and I want to put a shout out to them too as well.
It's still alive.
Yes, it's still alive.
I haven't killed it yet.
That one is alive. The first one got mowed over. I think the one prior to that even got something. It just disappeared. But yes, it still is alive. Okay, we have some amazing things to talk about, and one of them is gnats. Everybody's favorite
They're
insect.
horrible this year.
So
and the
are
only
ticks.
the only thing to do about it is take bug spray and go right in your face, and that's not any fun. So otherwise, they're in your eyelids. Oh,
That's what I tell her is the only thing you can do
yeah.
about it.
Just cover your lips so you don't taste it, and go right in the face.
And I like to spray it. I like
Yeah,
to apply
he says,
it.
"Here,
And
let
I'll
me
go,
do it."
Okay, I'm done, honey. And then when she opens her eyes, I go,
He's
one more
not
time.
quite that mean,
No,
but
I wouldn't
no.
do that.
And the ticks are absolutely terrible. And I probably shouldn't divulge this, but actually, we had about 10 seconds to go, and I found a tick on my arm.
Hey, well, she found it.
I was in the garden today, working around, what have you, and we had just happened to be talking and right before we went on the air, I found a tick on my arm. So you should have seen John. He was
But
pretty
her
funny.
and John wrestled it to the
we
ground.
wrestled it down. We got a tissue, and he ran to
It
the
kept-
toilet and flushed it. So we're safe.
I really wish it had been on the air. It would have been so much better. to be on the
Well,
air.
whatever.
Now, I am going to specifically address ticks for a minute.
Please.
Ticks, I believe you need to have a two-part approach. First of all, you have to realize that ticks are on the ground. They're very rarely up any higher than that unless they get on an animal. So when ticks are on the ground, they're going to come up your pant legs, right?
They do.
Or if you reach down on the ground, they're going to get on your arms.
Right, I think that's what happened.
So pant legs should be taped
Or
shut.
in your socks.
Or in your socks. And
Or rubber boots.
you should spray the cloth, not
Yes.
your skin,
Right.
with DEET.
Right, when we go fishing, I spray our pant
And
legs.
it should be 50%, but that's not where it stops. I think that you should take a tonic that my aunt used to use quite effectively, and it was garlic and pine tar, the pine soap. You buy a pine
Right.
soap, and she used oil of lemongrass.
Lemongrass?
Yeah, and you wash your hands and your arms and your feet.
It
and
must
your legs.
taste terrible.
No, and it smells kind of nice.
And you drink this?
Nope, you put it on your skin.
Oh.
You just soap yourself up with it. You just wash with it. Pay
Oh,
attention to
I'm
where we're going
trying.
with this.
All right.
Okay, and then you tape it up. Now you've done a two-part thing. So if
Yes.
they do happen to get in, they're not going to bother you. And beyond that, that will also repel insects, mosquitoes, everything else. All of the gnats and the no-see-ums and all that stuff are repelled. Now, spray your hats with DEET, take it off, and spray it away from you.
Because you're brushing against things in the woods.
Wear long sleeve shirts. I know this goes contrary to, oh, you get hot in long sleeve shirt. No, you don't.
You actually
What do you
cool your
think
body.
The people in the deserts where it's
They wear all
140
these sheets.
degrees.
They cover their entire bodies. They're
It's
not
because
sunbathing.
cover your skin and
Right.
protect it from the sun.
You're
and you won't get
shading
as
your
hot.
skin.
Yeah, and especially these new clothes.
Yeah.
These new clothes that I wear,
That's sun protection built right in.
and when you sweat, they air condition in you.
And also when you take medications, and a lot of people do, a lot of these medications actually make you more sensitive to sun, and you can break out into a rash, different things, have reactions, or you feel more fatigued when you're in the sun. So you really have to be careful. And I just a month ago had another spot taken off of my face because I used to be a sun worshiper, lived in Florida my whole life before I moved here. Luckily, it was benign. They called me, but you know, every couple of years, I'm having to have another piece of my face cut off. So,
Yeah.
you know, and the sun rays, I believe, are much stronger nowadays. I know there's debate about that, but in any case, if you can protect your skin from the time you're a baby, and especially kids, you will have less skin cancer in the future. That's all there is to it.
Now I'm going to list off 10 essential oils that if you use them, I don't care in what capacity, I don't care if it's for fragrance, if it's to put on your skin, and also we're going to list off some herbs that you can either rub on your skin or cook with or whatever. They will increase the resistance that you naturally will produce to all insects. It will decrease the number of mosquito bites that you get. It is proven by a number
Well,
of
I have to
universities.
say, I'm very impressed with what they've done with dogs as far as tick control, which, if people please, if you have animals, get them on the Heart Guard now. The mosquitoes are really bad. I was using for years the Frontline topical drops you put behind the neck on the dogs, but it gets kind of messy, and then if you have to give them a bath in between, you wash off your protection. Now they are on the pill, this Next Guard pill, and I've seen more ticks on me than I have on the dogs this year, honestly, and they're only
And
this
you
tall.
saw one die.
And they're in it. Yeah, I did find one that hitched a ride on our new Jack Russell that we have, Poppy. Hitched a ride, but this poor thing was on its last leg. So, you know, but yes,
We
please
have a
take
Jack
care of your
Russell for
animals.
sale, by the way.
No, no, don't get rid of Poppy.
Okay.
Oh, she's a beast.
These are the things you eat. These are the essential
Okay.
oils that you can use for mosquito repellent.
Well, garlic and
Lavender
onions,
and
you're going to
peppermint.
repel everybody eating, too
Like
much. of
garlic and onions, yeah, but we used to take slices, raw slices of it, and when we were fishing, and we would rub it on our face and our neck and everything.
Lovely.
Who cares? Who cares when you're fishing?
All
Okay,
right.
but okay, lavender and peppermint are two essential oils that will repel mosquitoes, gnats,
Okay.
so forth. What do you got?
Apple cider vinegar. And it's been used as a mosquito repellent for years. And it says it alters your scent and makes you less appealing.
Now, this could be ingested or rubbed on the skin.
And it says many claim that taking an undiluted tablespoon of apple cider vinegar at least once a day is vital to keep mosquitoes away. And for
Mix
a
it
more
with honey.
pleasant experience, you can mix it with some honey, and you can put it into your soup, salad dressing. A salad dressing, that's an excellent idea. Incorporate it into your food.
And apple cider vinegar is definitely good for you.
Yes.
Basil and pine. Now, pine, I just mentioned a little while ago, all soaps that we used in New Hampshire.
And this is topical, you mean?
Yeah.
Because
pine.
like my
Pine
basil,
oil, essential
I have a
oils.
basil plant, and say if I were to crumple up some leaves and
Brush
roll
it
them
up,
on
rub
me,
it on
they
you,
don't
yes.
like it.
Prove it,
Wow,
prove it.
okay.
Lemon eucalyptus. Now,
There's many kinds of eucalyptus,
Yeah, watch
right?
out,
There's a lot
because-
of kinds of mint as well.
yes.
So
Lemon eucalyptus. There's an oil of eucalyptus and there's a eucalyptus. Well, anyway, lemon eucalyptus, and I don't know this one. I've never heard of this. Retriva.
vetiver.
Vetiver.
Vetiver. It says
vetiver.
Vetiver.
Anyway, tea tree, lemongrass again, thyme, and catnip.
Okay, now tea tree oil, I can see that. It's got a really pungent,
Right?
yeah.
Alters your scent,
Yes,
confuses the
yes.
bugs, and catnip actually does. I mean,
Okay.
the cats will chase you around everywhere, but, but you will get rid of the insects. It really does work because we used to use it up there. So what else do you eat?
Well, lemongrass, it says contains an oil. I didn't know that's where citronella came from. That
Citronella is part of lemongrass, but that's not where it comes from.
It says lemongrass contains an oil known as citronella,
Yes.
which is a popular natural bug repellent generally applied to the skin or used in other forms. Eating lemongrass has been shown to provide similar protection as well. So, how to use it? They use it in many styles of Thai cooking. That's not going to help me much. Try serving some delicious lemongrass wings in your backyard barbecue. But, either way.
Well, lemongrass. Move on. What else
All right,
you got?
capsaicin, which is chili peppers.
Yeah, well,
Well, it's
that'll
just-
make you sweat, and then
Yeah.
if you eat enough of that stuff.
It says it's an irritant for many species. I think it is
yeah,
for me too.
Yeah, me too.
Especially your eyes.
Okay, sesame seed oil, citronella, which we just covered. Rosemary. Now, rosemary is one that I had never heard of before used, but this was the University of Missouri that had tested this, and quite extensively. And geranium, the blossoms
Really?
and the foliage of the geranium plant, and spearmint, spearmint oil as well as the plant.
Okay.
Thyme, cloves, and vitamin E. We know about vitamin E, but also vitamin B2. Vitamin B2 is a repellent. If
Now
you-
again, you're talking topically.
Yeah, both.
Both. Okay.
You can do some of these both, yeah. Like the cloves can be in cooking, the thyme.
Okay.
You can take the vitamin E internally, you can rub it on your skin, the rosemary, so forth.
Well, why don't people soak their clothes in a soup of something?
Well, that's
do people
what
do
is
that?
out now. They have an actual insect repellent clothing. It's impregnated right into the fibers. Now, I'm not sure what they use.
Because if these are all great ideas and everything, but the one true thing they know that works, and the only true thing they know that works consistently is DEET.
Yeah, but DEET against the skin is not a good idea because
Right.
it is a carcinogen. It can cause cancer.
Okay, so that you're only supposed to actually use on your clothes?
Well, no, it's supposed to be skin safe because there is DEET in a lot of products,
That's
but
right.
you should not use it on children at any great frequency. That's why I'm suggesting that you consider some
I
alternatives.
see. Yeah, I mean, because the chemicals are just so strong. Now, here it talks about tomatoes. It says because it contains B1 and it's abundant with thiamine.
B1, I'm sorry, not B2, B1.
It can be very
That's right.
deterring to mosquitoes and some bugs.
Yeah,
Okay.
thiamine is, if you are
Thiamine.
low in thiamine,
It says it makes you less enticing to mosquitoes.
if you are low, they will come after you. But if you have, if you have
Really?
tons, yeah, that's why you want to consume certain things. Yeah.
Well, have you ever noticed where some people get bit if as soon as there's one mosquito within a 10-mile radius.
Exactly.
And other people don't seem to get bit quite as often, and there is actually science to that as to what is in your skin, what is in your diet, what your
Vanilla
makeup
bean.
is.
Vanilla bean and vanilla oil.
Well, that makes you sweet.
Yes, but apparently the insects don't like it at all.
Oh, wow.
Whereas if you use certain perfumes, they will drive you nuts,
Yeah.
bees and everything.
Sure.
So you got to
They
be
do.
very careful about certain. You can't have it mixed with lemon. You have to have the lemon, the true lemon bean.
Now look at this one, grapefruit. I didn't realize that. It's been linked to deterring mosquitoes and is effective against ticks. And it says it may as well repel other, such as bed bugs
That
and head lice.
has nucatone in it,
It
right?
has nutcatone, yes. Okay.
No, it should be nucatone.
I guess add them to your. Now, be careful with grapefruit. I don't want, because a lot of people on medications, if you don't know this, grapefruit in particular is one of the
Especially
foods
something to do with your
with
blood pressure.
interacts with medications the most. So be careful with that one. Okay.
Okay, so what else you got?
It says avoid beer.
Well-
What to avoid beer? They don't know why. It seems to attract
But here's the
mosquitoes,
thing
but they
about
know
beer.
it does.
If you put beer, and you have to, you only need this much.
Right.
So you open a beer, what do you do with it?
Drink it.
You have to drink all but this much, because that's all you need left. You put that, what is left of the beer, in this container, and you put a little bit of soap in there, and it will attract in the gnats and
Oh,
mosquitoes
and then the
and kill them.
soap kills
So then
them.
you got to open another beer.
Oh.
Because that these gnats drink beer like
They
crazy.
do,
Okay,
yeah.
so you drink another beer, and then you pour that beer in, and you just keep doing
Oh,
it.
you just
Yeah.
keep drinking beer and making this poison.
But
and,
stay away from where you're attracting the gnats.
Right. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought you'd like that.
Also, salty foods
Yeah,
and
you got to
sweet
stay away
foods,
from salt
sugary
and
foods.
sweet foods. Yes,
Okay.
definitely, positively. Did you run out?
I think I ran out of things.
Citronella essential oil is another one.
Lemongrass, yep, the same thing you were talking about,
Now,
mosquito and tick, yes.
I'm going to, people have asked about what to use organically for vegetable plants, for fruit trees, for everybody's getting into organics. And then you have these people that, my father was a farmer, my father before him was a farmer, and we use the strongest chemicals we can use, right down to
Right.
nuclear waste. And,
know.
they go out in the barn and they find an old bottle of chloridane and spray it on everything. Hey, I haven't had a bug in 6 years. Well, okay.
There's
but-
good reason.
Yeah, good reason. You probably won't have people either in another 6 years. But we try to go with the least offensive product to do the best job. And after all of the years, and I have tested this over and over and over on every kind of insect and disease that you could possibly think of, and I will always use a test of it, and then if it works, fine, but if it doesn't work, I always have a backup plan. So I'll come back in 5 days, 7 days, and if that plant is still being infested with whatever it is I'm treating for, then I give it a shot of something that's a little bit more powerful.
Right.
But neem oil, Neem oil.
There, that's the,
And
yes.
she is going to read some of the benefits of this unbelievably fantastic, organic, non-toxic, insects don't get used to it. If you use 7, which is an organic, you use 7 2 years in a row, it's no good. You use rotenone 2 years in a row, another organic, no good. This you can use for 50 years and they never build a resistance to
Now,
it.
I haven't actually never heard of a neem tree.
It is a neem tree. Yeah, that's where it comes
Right,
from,
yes.
from the leaves.
From the leaves
Yeah.
and the seeds of a neem tree, and it's been used as a natural pesticide for hundreds of years, and it has many other uses. And it's for one of the reasons it's safe to use around pets and wildlife. Okay, apparently
Totally
it's
safe,
not
totally.
harmful, it's biodegradable, non-toxic, it's safe for fish, all kinds of wildlife, won't hurt anything.
I have actually licked it off my finger. It doesn't taste very good, But to make a point, I licked it off my finger.
It's organic and biodegradable. As I said, there are no unreasonable adverse effects. Now, I'm not sure exactly what unreasonable means, but I guess it means nothing major, severe, or even noteworthy, really. So, but that's made from the seeds. It does not create death zones as other insecticides can.
Now,
What
a
does that
death
mean?
zone means, okay, if I spray a tree and it's loaded with insects, right?
Right.
And I kill the bugs. Underneath there will be this dead carcasses of insects. It doesn't do that. It kills very slowly and gradually, and these insects disperse, and you don't even know where they are. Further, they don't kill the birds when the birds eat the insects that are killed by the neem oil.
Right, right.
So it's a win-win all the way around.
And it says you can use it to control insects at all stages of development. So from any point of cocoon or egg or larva or full-grown insect, it can be used to kill at all stages of development. And it controls hundreds of types of insects, from aphids to leafhoppers, whiteflies, so many insects, just to name a few. They're effective at controlling nematodes, which is another issue that you have.
Most definitely, and nematodes are major. So now you're talking about controlling what's on top of the ground, what's under the ground, and not harming the beneficial
It says
earthworms.
beneficial earthworms won't be harmed.
Won't touch them.
And how does it know which is good and which is bad?
Smarter than I am.
I guess so, because they are very beneficial to garden soil.
Very beneficial, yes. And they're killed by most everything that we use to control grubs or to control moles or whatever kills out the earthworms. Now your soil becomes concrete.
Yep. It can be used as a dormant season application or as a foliar spray. So it's very versatile for tent caterpillars, leaf rollers, aphids that cause curling on the leaves, scale insects. It goes on and on. And lawn grubs can be controlled with neem oil as well.
Without killing the earthworms.
And follow the application.
I love this stuff. I've always, there are 3 or 4 products that I use. One is called Fungicide 3-Way. Okay, stupid name, dumb name. I don't know who named this, but they should be slapped upside the head. Fungicide 3-Way, what does that mean? Well, it's actually an insecticide, a fungicide, and a miticide.
That's what I asked him.
That
I
has
was like,
nothing to do with Fungicide 3-Way.
What am I going to put fungicide on my garden for? I'm not going to have anything to control the insects. And he says, yeah, it does that too.
It's a tremendous product, but it's totally misleading, and that's why people don't buy it. It just changed the label, and everybody would.
Now with neem oil, you can control Japanese beetles.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I've done it very successfully.
And it doubles as a good fertilizer.
Well, now that I don't know about. I read that and I thought, this must be a misprint.
They fertilize the soil by extending the availability of nitrogen and help control nematodes, white ants,
well, what
and grubs.
They do is they make a cake. And I studied up on this a little bit.
Kernels and neem fruit and kernels.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're taking manure and they're putting neem oil in it and working it into the soil, and therefore it's a fertilizer as well as a nematicide and everything else.
And you could also use it on your indoor plants because it won't harm your pets or your children.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. It's safer in your greenhouse.
Just thinking about it.
Use it in the greenhouse.
I use it all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stink.
And it's a great fungicide as well, not just insects, what have you. It's great for fungus.
You know, this is almost as good as the Garden Doctor, right here, in a bottle.
In a bottle. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay.
We have a call. We're going to interrupt all of this paperwork nonsense. And by the way, it's a live show, so calls are good. Yes, you're on the air with the Garden Doctor and Mrs. Garden Doctor. How can we help you?
I was wondering what you can do with a gumball tree. The balls, is there anything you can do to stop them from producing the balls? And actually, it's not our tree, it's the neighbor's tree.
Oh,
that's always hard,
fun?
Yeah.
Yes. I had a guy one time ask me if I knew how to kill a tree. And I said, well, yes, of course I do. And he said, well, do you know how to kill a neighbor's tree? And I said, well, I can't do that. So there is a product, actually, that's called Amthym. And it's used for prevention of fruit set or seed set on plants. Now, the trick to this is it has to be sprayed right after it blooms, and we use it a lot of times on crab apples that were improperly placed either by a sidewalk or by a street or something, and we don't want any fruit, but the blossom is going to be there. So right after it blooms, we spray it with this product, and it prevents it from setting fruit. But the trick is that you have to spray the whole tree.
Oh,
So if it's a big tall tree,
Yeah.
that's going to
and
be impossible.
next door, then yeah, it's next to impossible, and it's also not economical. Now, there is another way that we used to be quite effective. Now, I don't know if they'll still do it or not, but the Girl Scouts used to come around and clean these up for us.
That's a good idea.
And the Boy Scouts would come around and pick the bagworms off the trees. The Boy Scouts picked the bagworms, put them into cans, and we'd put kerosene in the bottom. They would soak up into the bagworm, which is an insect, and we'd let them dry out, and that would become fire starter. And the Girl Scouts would use these thorns, the balls of thorns, to make wreaths and all sorts of things that were part of their crafts. So they would come out and literally just vacuum up the whole entire yard.
I don't even think kids do any of that stuff anymore, do they?
Probably not. So it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So other than moving or putting a big fan out to blow it all to the neighbor's house
Or
when they
talking
fall.
to your neighbor about cutting down the tree.
No, talk to them about coming over and picking up their mess.
Well, when they had children there, they offered to, to have the kids come over, but they're all grown up. And
All
their
the
own
children are
families.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the children that remain that aren't gone are too lazy to come out of the house anyway. So
Well, they're on their cell phones.
Yeah,
and
they
their
got-
iPads,
Video
and all that.
games.
they got
and-
all kinds of things going on. Sorry I couldn't help you more. I do have a solution, but it won't work.
Okay.
Thank you for your call
Thank
very
you.
much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Have a wonderful day. Tomatoes, I covered that. I did want to mention the garden. I would like people to get a little bit more creative this year. You have plenty of time. Plenty of time. I would like you to research just a little bit. Even if you go to a bigger seed store like the Menards or Myers or Lowe's or something up in Richmond. Or Indianapolis or somewhere, and look at the seed racks. Find something on the seed rack that you don't know what it is. Find something. Well, I have a list of things that you might want to think about.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right off that my son's girlfriend made for me was these multicolored carrots. They
Yes.
were beautiful. They were red
Ta-da!
and orange and purple and beige and
Look at,
just
there's
beautiful.
red,
Is that
there's
them?
purple.
Oh, there
there's
you go.
in
They
black and
were
white.
great too, the way she prepared them, I'm sure, but beautiful.
I couldn't find a color picture.
Beautiful.
And it's not an advertisement with a picture out there, but they are called rainbow carrots.
Oh, they
Rainbow
were
carrots.
delicious.
And they are delicious, and the darker they are, the higher the concentration of vitamin
Oh,
C.
yes, everything.
Beta-carotene.
The more color,
all of the good
variety,
stuff
yes.
packed into there, and they're just beautiful to look at. The kids love to
Well,
look at
it was
them.
a beautiful presentation for dinner as well. I mean, they're carrots and they're delicious, but they were as beautiful as well. Yes.
Up in the mountains of New England, especially in Maine, these came out of Maine, is Jacob's cattle bean. And if you want to grow and eat the best baked beans you ever
That
put
is
in your
what
mouth.
Aunt Bee makes her baked beans out of, her
And that's
famous
the only
baked
bean
beans.
that she will use.
At
It's
every
a great
fair,
big bean.
at every event, at every wedding, funeral, what have you, Auntie makes baked beans, and she only uses Jacob's cattle.
And actually, that's been the only bean that was ever used for baked beans originally, the original baked beans. So it's a much larger bean than you're accustomed to, though. You think of baked beans as these little bitty beans.
No, these
and
are beefy,
You
yeah.
put a lot of syrup on them and stuff. That's not what baked beans are all about. You put some bacon in there and salt pork and whatnot.
It's a chunky bean.
But it's a big,
very
big
good.
and it's delicious,
Yeah,
just
oh,
fabulous
yes.
bean, and it's worth growing.
I love
But
all kinds of beans.
Flip down
anyway.
through these a little bit there, dear.
And what do you want me to see? Got a lot of Jacob's cattle beans
Yeah, there's
here.
all kinds of different varieties of Jacob's cattle, but I thought there was.
Roma bush beans and
Those are not so much. But the varieties that I wanted
something
to.
unique.
You know what? Maybe I'm not in the right right page
Here, what is this here? Sweet Success.
Oh, here we
Cucumbers.
go. Okay, now you're getting down to it. There's okay. We
Muncher.
have a caller. We'll go to that.
All right.
But I want to mention the Muncher cucumber. The
Ooh,
Muncher
even
cucumber.
sounds good.
This is a delicious cucumber. You want to look this guy up.
Okay.
We have a call. We're going to the caller. Hello, you're on the air with Mr. and Mrs. Garden Doctor. How can we help you?
Yeah, how do you get rid of the green garden onions, the chives?
Oh, the wild
onions.
ones?
The wild.
I've got a bunch of those this year too.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, there is a certain time of the year when the stem is hard and the bulb can be loosed from the ground by jerking on it because the stem is so strong. And that's right about now. You want to water the ground and they will pull right up out of the ground. Now, if you try to pull them too early, they'll break off. If you try to pull them when the ground is too dry, they'll break off. But under perfect circumstances, they will pull up out of the ground when the stem is stiff, good stiff stem.
I noticed that when I was pulling some weeds a few weeks ago. Now, if you get the bulb and all, have you gotten rid of it?
Yeah, we've got rid of that
one?
bulb,
Okay.
yes, and it hasn't had a chance to produce yet. But of course, they produce from both seed at the top and bulb separation at the bottom, rhizomes. And so the other way to do it, and it's probably the only other way to do it because you cannot spray them. The stem is so narrow and it's so coated that it's difficult to penetrate with a spray without just using a blanket spray.
You'll have a giant hole, a dead hole
you don't
for
wanna,
one.
You don't want to use that, but you can use a glove. You put on first a Playtex glove that is a good quality Playtex glove, and then you put on a cloth glove, some inexpensive cloth glove, and have a shallow pan mixed up with systemic weed control like Roundup or any of the other ones that are on the market. There's 100 of them out there on the market. Even Weed and Feed will work. Even I can't think of the name of there's a common weed killer that will work. That's just for your lawns, but it will work. But anyway, you want to make sure you get the concentration right. Wring out your hand and then just wipe the stem of those either garlic or onions, and you sometimes have to do it twice because you get a second growth in there. But we have been very successful right in the middle of big, massive ground cover beds in killing dandelions. You just reach down and wipe your hand on the dandelion, but especially in killing the.
And it'll kill it down to the whole entire bulb.
The whole thing
then?
is gone.
Okay.
It's fried. Yeah. Yeah, that will kill that plant, and that particular plant will not come back. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't rhizomes that are already in there, or seeds or whatever, but once it's reduced, then the trick is to prevent. And people aren't thinking prevention when it comes to the fall, and they really should. Sometime in September and October is when the majority of the seeds are released into the air, and at that time is when you need to put your weed preventer on your gardens and on your flower beds and so forth. And if you have a garden that you're going to be using for next year, then either cover it with a sheet of plastic. If this is a tillable garden, cover it with a sheet of plastic and nail it down with some straw or something. That way, you're preventing any seeds from falling on that ground that aren't already there. You're also, any seeds that germinate underneath there won't get any sunlight and they'll die. So you're weeding your garden during the entire fall and winter season into the spring.
Before you get started.
You're also heating it up and protecting it. It's not going to be too wet when it comes springtime. So covering the garden, a garden cover is a very, very good idea for a number of reasons. It also reduces insects substantially. You may give a harbor for mice, but that's fine because what they eat underneath there is you don't want under there anyway. So that doesn't hurt anything when you uncover them. But if it's in a flower garden, put a weed preventer out in the fall, put another weed preventer out in mid to late spring, because the seeds that were blown in the air that came in the spring are still laying there. And you need to put a preventer down to prevent them from germinating.
Right, that's
before
what
you
the
have
weed
to kill
preventer
them.
does, stops germination. So
Vitally important.
You can prevent them somewhat and take care of the existing
You
ones.
can prevent about
somewhat.
75 to 80% of the wild garlic and wild onion.
I know what
in
she's
your-
talking about, though. I've seen more of those this year in our yard than I have in any other time.
Well, and there's a reason for
It must
this.
be the weather, the weird how
Yeah.
we went straight from winter and cold and snow and rain right into hot summer, pretty much.
It was actually more to do with last summer, I think.
Really?
We had the high winds at the very time that the seeds were being produced for the onion. And it was
They
really...
spread them everywhere.
It just really,
Okay.
instead of them just, fluttering out and dropping, it just pounded them out.
Well,
Thank
I
you
hope
very
that
much for your
helps.
call. I hope we answered your question.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very, very much. Now, what were you, where were you
And
at?
actually, we were
Oh,
talking about the neem oil.
The munching cucumber. Oh, you're still on the
Well,
neem oil?
I was, because it works as it's a bacterial agent.
See, this neem oil goes on.
It can protect your fruit trees and berry bushes.
It never shuts up.
It
It's kinda
just
like me.
goes on and on and on. So neem oil is apparently the way to go.
Mosquito control. Keep going. Flip
Neem
another
oil
one.
keeps the
Just read
mosquitoes
the
away.
highlights.
I'm trying. God, it can protect your herbs. It comes in a variety of formulas.
Now, see, herbs. Very few things can be sprayed on herbs.
Yeah, that's
very,
right.
very few things. We have a video that we're going to play for you, and it's pruning a fruit tree. This was one of the very big things that you people asked
Yes,
us to put
a lot
together.
of calls about
so
that.
we're going to do an in-depth of this, but for right now, we're going to go
get started.
into the studio and let them fire that thing up. Hello, this is Harold Matthews, the garden doctor, in my own backyard, trimming my own fruit trees, which I probably should have trimmed earlier in the season, but it's never too late to do certain pruning. Now, because I want to be able to mow underneath these and not smack myself in the head, I'm going to raise these trees up. But it is preferable to keep the fruit as low hanging as possible so that they can be picked and so that they have the shortest distance to fall to the ground if that's what they're going to do. So you want to prune the tops of the tree and promote growth that goes out and in many cases down. In this case though, this is too much down. Now I have two different tools here. I have a saw, which I'm going to use to prune the larger limbs, and then I have a pair of loppers. Now the loppers have jaws that go this way and this way. They can be laid against the branch, against the main trunk with this part, and it'll hold them out away from the trunk. That's not preferable. You use this side to cut with, and therefore you'll be cutting right up close to the trunk. Whenever you remove a limb from any tree, any plant, even a tomato plant, you want to cut it as close to the main stem as is physically possible so that it will heal back over quickly and completely, and sometimes even completely disappear. You're very hard pressed to find it even when you're milling logs, which we do in New Hampshire. So we put this part against the tree and make the cut, and that cuts it off very closely. And then I've got this branch that's in my face here that I'm going to get rid of. Now I'm going to prune that up closer later, but right now I'm just taking it off to make a point here, and then I'll show you something about that in a minute. Over here is a branch that is rubbing on another branch, and this rubbing here will cause an injury, and that injury will allow insects in. We want to make sure that that's the first branch that you remove. Now, both branches are rubbing, so you want to remove the one that does the greater benefit to the tree is the one that you leave, and the one that's doing the greatest damage to the tree or the least amount of benefit to the tree is the one that you remove. So here we have this smaller branch that's coming up out of here, coming this way, but we also have this branch which is rubbing against the backside of this one. This branch is a sucker limb. Now, how do I determine that that's a sucker limb? Well, if you look at the coloration of this branch right here, you can see that it is considerably different here than what these branches are. These are spotted like cow belly type situation. And this one is coming straight up and going straight up through the middle. And that usually draws energy from the tree as opposed to putting energy back into the tree. So this one here is one that I'm going to remove anyway. And I'm going to remove it with a saw, and I'll show you that. This one here is rubbing on this limb coming across this way. So I'm going to remove both this limb and this limb, thereby freeing up this one to do its maximum production of fruit. And again, this time I'm going to use the saw on this tree, on this limb here. I probably should get some of these other ones out of the way so that you can see that. And again, I turn the pruners this way, but now look, I'm away from the limb. That's not a good cut. That's a very poor cut. If you can see this scar down here, and I'm going to show you some scars in a minute. This scar down here is healing over nicely because I cut it so clean to the flesh, that to the main trunk, that it was able to heal. The saw I'm going to put right up against the tree, and I'm going to saw as close as I can to the main branch in order to take it off clean. Uh-oh, that was the wrong limb. No, not really. That was the right limb. So we're taking that one out of the way. We've got another one that goes over into the center here. We're taking that one out of the way. And again, right up clean. See this one here? Cut wrong. Garden doctor tree, garden doctor probably cut it. It was cut improperly. It is trying to heal over wrong. But if I cut it off again and cut it up clean, it will heal properly. So we're going to look at some scars that were cut wrong, and I'll show you how those wrong cuts can allow for insects and disease to get in. We moved over to a different apple tree, and I'm going to show you a few things here. You can see the little suckers coming on the sides here, and these are an indication that I cut these limbs too long, that I did not prune them properly. I'll prune this off so that you can see this a little clearer, and I can actually break some of the smaller ones off. But you see how this is out much too far. It can't heal that way. It's just going to be another sucker limb. So we've got to prune these much closer. This one was pruned almost right, but not quite. And you can see it healing all the way around. And it was pruned at the exact same time as this one was, which is doing no healing whatsoever. So if we prune them this way, we're standing out away from the limb. If we prune them this way, we're going clean up to as close as it can get. And sometimes I have to go back with a saw and prune them again. Again, a sucker limb going straight up into the middle, can't have that. So the sucker limb comes out. A fruit producing limb, yes, but not one that I want. I want the inside of this tree to be aired out so that the wind can blow through it. And I also want any rubbing branches to be removed, and then I will prune the top so that the fruit is not way up in the top, so that it's coming out this way. Thank you very much for watching. Back to the studio.
Well.
Wow, I was just mesmerized.
Now I have witnesses of all the things
Who
he's
was that?
not supposed to do. This and this after heart surgery. See what I'm dealing with here? I mean, you do have a scar from here to here,
Why would they play that?
it-
Why would they do that?
Well, anyway, that was quite interesting. I wish you had
We're going
let
to do
someone
it
else
more
do
in depth when I feel a little bit stronger.
But a couple things we want to get to before we run out of time.
Yes.
We are actually
This has been so much fun.
Yeah, we're running out of time. So we coming up soon on June 23rd out at the Willowbrook Country Club here. They're having a golf tournament, and they're also doing this ball drop event where they drop, I don't know how many is it, 500 numbered golf balls out of a helicopter. Okay?
Ouch.
And the one that lands
It's going to hurt.
closest to the cup, the main cup, I guess, where they're dropping them at,
I hope it's not my cup.
$10,000. Second place is $2,500. Third place is $1,000. Now, if you want a ticket, which I guess gives you a ball with a number on it, $50 a piece, or 3 for $120. And of course, it goes to support the Lions Club and everything
Lions
else. So
Club.
they do an
Great,
awful lot of
great,
stuff. Yeah,
super
Lions
people,
Club,
super
and
people.
that's June 23rd. So if you're interested in that. And then
Then-
keep in mind that we are now having, I think it's going on a couple of weeks already now, every Saturday morning down in the courthouse parking lot is the Fayette County Farmers Market. And you'll have local grown vegetables and arts and crafts and different kind of things. I'm not sure who all's involved in it this year, but every Saturday morning up until, I forget when, till the end of September. So, and they start early and they're done by noon. So it's like 8 to 12 in the morning. That's always a real good turnout.
You try to get involved in that whenever you can when you get caught
Yeah,
up.
and it just
in order
seems
to get
things
you-
happen, and I'm not real big about getting up at 6 in the morning to get ready to go sit in the sun. So,
Before
have
I
a
forget,
time.
last year we had a shortage of bees. We had a shortage
Yes.
of pollinators. So
Yes.
the pollination problem has not gone away. We
Nope.
still have it this year. You need to learn to take a paintbrush, one of those round paintbrushes, and go out and daub the blossoms on your cucumbers, your squash, tomatoes, everything that blooms. Just daub them
What
a
are you
little bit.
daubing them with?
You just daub this one and then daub that one, daub that one.
So you're just daubing?
Yeah, and that's it. You're taking the pollen from one, putting it on the other. You're done. That's it.
Well, with like so many other things, if nature decides we're doing it and they don't need to do it.
Oh,
Well,
they
no.
don't. The bees don't look. Do
Okay.
it when they're not looking.
Well,
do it at night with
nature
a
has a
flashlight.
way of, like they said in Jurassic Park, nature finds a way.
It was drastic, all right.
Not Jurassic Park.
Another plant that I want you to look up, if you have an opportunity, is the stump of the world tomato.
What on earth is
The
that?
stump
Stump of the world.
of the world.
I don't even know if I want that tomato.
Oh, hey, this is.
Is it an
I know
heirloom
this
variety?
tomato. No, I know
No?
this tomato. Matter of fact, I know the gentleman. He just died here a year or so ago. 95 years old, and he hybrid all of his life to bring together different varieties to come up with this. And this
Really?
is,
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought the seed had been lost.
What
but
are its
apparently
attributes?
Not. It's one of the world's best of 300 different tomatoes that they ever grew, that this company that was doing the testing. It has a high crimson
Gene,
color.
so it's bright red.
bright red, orange,
Orange.
rich, red meat. It's among the best that they've ever tasted. It really is a
Okay.
fabulous, fabulous, fabulous tomato. You
Now,
have
where
to
do
grow
you
it by
find
seed,
this?
though.
Okay, you got to get the seeds and.
You have to grow it by seed. Now, there's another tomato, and it's a blueberry tomato. And I wish I could find. If I don't find it, I'll.
A blueberry
tomato. It's. I
I'll
looked
tell you,
forever to find this. Now,
you-
back when I had the nursery, I had 100 varieties of tomato plants available at Neil's. 100. And
Wow.
I maintained 100. I had snowballs. I had
incredible.
black ones. But I had the blueberry, and I don't know if I can find it. Frenchman, nope, I don't see it on here. But I will, at the next show, I will definitely bring it to you.
All right.
Anything you need to cover in closing?
Well, just another mention if anybody's ever been out to that Cope Environmental Center up in
that's
Centerville.
fabulous. Yeah.
They have some awesome programs going on, and they will throughout the summer for kids. It's in Centerville. I forget the name of that road. They have 7 a.m. bird hikes in the morning and different things on Saturdays for kids. So check it out. Go to their website.
Gnat traps. Make a gnat trap
Yeah.
real simply. All you got to do is use vinegar with a little bit of soap in there. Take a plastic bottle, cut the top off, turn it upside down so you make an inverted V, and that's it. That's the gnat
Oh,
trap.
I hate those
that's
things.
It.
No
And
more in the
they
face.
will. You set 4 or 5 of these around, and you will decrease your gnats by 50% the first day, and then every day
And
thereafter.
dump any standing water in your yard, buckets, and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Get rid of mosquitoes.
Clean all that
and
stuff
everything.
up.
So
Clean
I think
up all
we're
the-
running out of time,
all
is
the
what they're
trash and
telling us.
debris. No,
30
no.
seconds,
Cer-
20.
Certainly not. Certainly
We're out
not.
of time. Thank you.
We can stretch 20 seconds to like 2 hours. Watch
Can
us.
we? Oh, I don't know. He's counting down here.
We love to be back. We're enjoying it. We
I'm
hope
glad
to,
he's back
hope
all
to hit-
together.
hope to see you at the next Garden Doctor show. Thank you very much, and we're out of here, folks.
The Garden Doctor.